The alarm screamed across the campus. Students ran in every direction. Some hid inside buildings. Others jumped into emergency shelters. Nobody knew what was happening. Only one thing was certain. The beast had escaped. At the center of the academy stood a massive containment tower made of reinforced steel and energy barriers. Deep inside that tower lived one of the most dangerous creatures ever discovered by humanity. Its official designation was Subject X-97, but everyone simply called it the Beast. The creature was over 12 feet tall when standing upright. Its body was covered with dark scales stronger than military armor. Sharp claws extended from its hands. Its glowing golden eyes could see in darkness. According to reports, it had destroyed 3 research stations before being captured. Many people believed it should have been destroyed. Instead, scientists brought it to the Galactic Academy for study. The Academy trained students from dozens of species. Humans, Varex, Solori, Kren, and many others learned together there. The beast was kept far away from all students. At least that was the plan. Until today. Containment failure in Sector 7. The announcement echoed through the campus. All personnel evacuated immediately. Professor Talon stared at the security monitors. No, he whispered. The screen showed broken barriers, destroyed doors, damaged security drones, and one empty containment chamber. The beast was gone. Find it. Talon shouted. Security teams rushed through the academy. Students were ordered to stay hidden. Fear spread faster than the news itself. Everyone knew the stories. Everyone knew what the beast could do. Meanwhile, a human student named Ethan Brooks was completely unaware of the panic. He was inside the academy library. The library was huge and quiet. Rows of shelves stretched across several floors. Ethan sat alone at a table covered with books. Unlike many students, Ethan loved studying, especially history. His final exams were approaching. Nothing could distract him, not even the faint sound of alarms in the distance. He sighed and rubbed his eyes. Just one more chapter. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Ethan frowned. The room became silent. Then he heard something. Heavy footsteps. Boom, boom, boom. The sound was coming from behind one of the bookshelves. Ethan stood slowly. Hello. No answer. The footsteps continued. Boom, boom, boom. A strange feeling settled in his stomach. Something was wrong. Very wrong. He carefully stepped around the shelf and froze. Standing 20 feet away was the beast. Its enormous body nearly touched the ceiling. Golden eyes stared directly at him. Its claws looked capable of tearing through steel. For several seconds, neither moved. Ethan's heart pounded. This was impossible. The beast was supposed to be locked away. Every survival instinct screamed at him to run, but his legs refused to move. The beast lowered its head slightly. It studied him. Ethan swallowed hard. Okay, he whispered. This is bad. Very slowly, the beast stepped forward. One step, then another. The floor trembled beneath its weight. Ethan backed away. The beast stopped. Its eyes remained fixed on him. Neither spoke. Neither attacked. Then the academy shook violently. A loud explosion echoed outside. The beast instantly turned toward the sound. Its scales rose. A low growl rumbled from its chest. It sounded almost protective. Ethan blinked. Protective? That made no sense. Another explosion shook the building. This time closer. The beast suddenly moved. Ethan expected an attack. Instead, the creature grabbed him. Gah! Ethan barely had time to react before he found himself lifted into the air. The beast tucked him under one massive arm. Then it sprinted. The library wall exploded behind them. Debris flew everywhere. The beast crashed through a side exit. Ethan shouted in panic, "Put me down!" The creature ignored him. Students screamed as they ran past. Security drones filled the sky. The beast moved with incredible speed. Within seconds, it had crossed half the campus. Ethan struggled. The beast tightened its grip just enough to stop him from falling. Not enough to hurt him. Just enough to keep him safe. Safe. Again that strange feeling appeared. Why was the beast protecting him? The answer came moments later. Dark ships descended from the sky. Hundreds of them. Black armored vessels covered with red symbols. Professor Talon watched in horror from the command center. No. An officer turned pale. It's the Carthan Raiders. The room became silent. Everyone knew who they were. The Carthan Raiders were one of the most feared criminal groups in the galaxy. They attacked colonies, kidnapped scientists, sold advanced technology, and now they were attacking the Academy. But why? Someone asked. Talon stared at the screen. Then he realized the truth. They aren't here for the students. What do you mean? They are here for the beast. The room fell silent. Of course, the beast was valuable, extremely valuable, a living biological weapon. The raiders wanted to capture it. Outside, explosions rocked the campus. Armed soldiers poured from the ships. Students fled in terror. Security forces fought desperately. The Academy had never faced an attack like this. Meanwhile, the beast carried Ethan deep into the forest beyond campus. Finally, it stopped. Ethan stumbled free. He immediately backed away. The beast remained motionless. Its eyes scanned the area, watching, listening, almost like a god. Ethan took a shaky breath. You could have killed me. The beast looked at him. No response. You know that, right? Still nothing. The creature sat down, like a giant statue. Ethan stayed. This was not what he expected. The beast was supposed to be a monster, a killer, yet it had saved him twice. First from the explosion, then from the battle. The creature suddenly tilted its head. Its eyes focused on Ethan's wrist, specifically on a small silver bracelet. Ethan noticed. What? The beast slowly reached toward it. Ethan tensed. Ethan staggered backward. What was that? The beast pulled away. Its expression seemed almost sad. Ethan's heart raced. Did you show me that? The creature blinked. For the first time, Ethan realized something. The beast was intelligent, far more intelligent than anyone believed. Another explosion echoed in the distance. The beast immediately stood. Its protective posture returned. Ethan looked toward the Academy. Smoke filled the sky. Students were still trapped. His friends were still there. We need to help them. The beast looked at him. Ethan laughed nervously. Okay, maybe not we. The creature growled softly. Then it began walking back toward the Academy. Ethan stayed. Wait! The beast continued walking, straight toward danger, straight toward the raiders. Ethan sighed. This is insane. He started following. The beast glanced back at him, almost as if checking whether he was safe, and together they headed toward the battlefield. Neither knew that the raiders had already discovered Ethan's importance, because Ethan was not an ordinary student. Hidden within his bracelet was ancient alien technology, technology capable of controlling biological superweapons, technology that the raiders desperately wanted. And somehow, the beast knew it. The battle for the Academy was only beginning. The closer Ethan and the beast moved toward the Academy, the louder the battle became. Explosions lit the sky. Energy weapons flashed across the campus. Smoke rose from damaged buildings. The Carthan Raiders had completely surrounded the Academy. Students and teachers were trapped inside. Ethan could hardly believe what he was seeing. This is a disaster. The beast continued forward. Its movements were careful now. It stayed among the trees, avoiding open ground, almost like a trained soldier. Ethan followed as quietly as possible. Soon they reached a ridge overlooking the Academy. From there they could see everything. Security forces were fighting desperately. Several raider gunships hovered above the campus. Their weapons fired nonstop. The defenders were losing. A loud voice suddenly echoed across the battlefield. Attention Academy personnel. The voice came from giant speakers attached to the raider ships. Surrender immediately. Hand over Subject X-97. No further harm will come to the students. Professor Talon listened from the command center. Lies! He muttered. Everyone knew the raiders could not be trusted. If they captured the beast, thousands of lives would be at risk. The beast stared at the battlefield. Its golden eyes narrowed. A deep growl escaped its throat. Ethan looked up. You want to fight them, don't you? The creature did not answer, but Ethan already knew. Suddenly several raider soldiers appeared nearby. There! One of them pointed directly at the beast. We found it. Blaster fire erupted instantly. The beast moved before Ethan could react. Its massive body shifted in front of him. Energy bolts slammed into its armored scales. Most bounced harmlessly away. Others left only minor burns. The soldiers stared in shock. Impossible! The beast roared. The sound shook the entire forest. Birds exploded into the sky. Even Ethan felt the vibration in his chest. Then the beast charged. The ground cracked beneath its feet. Within seconds it reached the soldiers. One swing of its arm sent 2 raiders flying through the trees. Another soldier fired desperately. The beast grabbed a weapon and crushed it. The battle lasted less than 10 seconds. When it ended, the surviving raiders were running for their lives. Ethan stood frozen. He had never seen such power. The beast looked terrifying during combat. Yet despite all the violence, it had carefully protected him the entire time. Not once had Ethan been placed in danger. A strange realization slowly formed in his mind. The beast was not guarding itself. It was guarding him. More raider ships suddenly appeared overhead. The beast looked up. Its eyes focused on one particular vessel. The largest ship. The command ship. Something about it clearly angered the creature. Then Ethan felt the bracelet on his wrist grow warm. Very warm. He looked down. Blue lights appeared beneath its surface. What now? A voice suddenly echoed inside his head. Not through his ears. Directly inside his mind. Protect the keeper. Ethan nearly jumped. What? The voice came again. Protect the keeper. Ethan stared at the bracelet, then at the beast. The creature was watching him carefully. You can hear that too. The beast slowly nodded. Ethan's eyes widened. You understand me? Another nod. For several moments neither moved. Finally Ethan laughed in disbelief. You could have told me that earlier. The beast tilted its head. Ethan suddenly realized how ridiculous that statement sounded. The creature was not exactly carrying a translator. A bright beam of energy slammed into the ground nearby. The explosion threw dirt everywhere. More raiders. Dozens of them. This time they arrived with heavy weapons. At their center stood a tall armored commander. His armor was black and silver. A scar crossed one side of his face. His eyes locked onto Ethan. There he is. Ethan frowned. Me. The commander smiled. Interesting. The beast immediately stepped in front of Ethan. The commander laughed. So the stories are true. One of his officers looked confused. What stories? The beast spawned. The officer blinked. You mean the human? Exactly. The commander raised his weapon. Capture the boy. Kill anything that gets in the way. The raiders attacked. Energy fire filled the forest. Trees exploded around them. The beast roared and launched itself forward. The commander expected a wild animal. Instead, he encountered a tactical genius. The beast used the terrain perfectly. It dodged incoming fire, used fallen trees as cover, targeted heavy weapons first, protected Ethan every second. The raiders quickly realized they were not fighting a monster. They were fighting a warrior, a very intelligent warrior. Still, the enemy numbers kept growing. Ethan knew they could not win alone. Then he remembered something. The command center. The Academy's communication network. If he could reach it, he might contact the defenders. Hey! The beast glanced toward him. We need help. The creature listened carefully. Ethan pointed toward the Academy. We need to get inside. The beast looked toward the battlefield, then back at Ethan. Finally it crouched, almost like an invitation. Ethan stayed. No way. The beast remained still. You want me to ride you? Another stay. Ethan sighed. This is officially the weirdest day of my life. He climbed onto the beast's back. The creature immediately sprang forward. Ethan nearly fell off. The speed was unbelievable. Trees blurred past them. Explosions erupted behind them. Raider soldiers tried to intercept. None succeeded. Within minutes they reached the Academy perimeter. The scene was chaos. Buildings burned. Students hid behind barricades. Security drones fought overhead. Several defenders spotted the beast. Panic spread instantly. Subject X-97. It's here. Run. Professor Talon saw the security feed. Then he noticed Ethan riding on its back. His jaw dropped. What am I looking at? Nobody had an answer. The beast ignored the frightened defenders. It moved directly toward the command center. Security teams aimed their weapons. Ethan jumped down and raised both hands. Wait! Everyone froze. It isn't attacking. One officer stared. Are you insane? It saved me. Another explosion shook the building. There was no time to argue. Professor Talon appeared on a monitor. Ethan, explain immediately. I don't fully understand either. But the beast is helping us. The professor looked skeptical. Then the beast stepped forward. Instead of attacking, it placed one clawed hand over its chest. A gesture of peace. Every person in the room stared. The creature had never done that before. Professor Talon slowly lowered his weapon. What are you? The beast touched its own head, then pointed at Ethan's bracelet. The blue light intensified. A hidden compartment opened. A crystal emerged. The entire command center went silent. Professor Talon turned pale. No. Ethan looked confused. What is it? The professor swallowed hard. That crystal belongs to the first builders. The oldest civilization in known history. Everyone stared. They created living guardians. His eyes shifted toward the beast. Not weapons. Guardians. The truth crashed over the room. Years of assumptions had been wrong. The beast was never meant to destroy. It was created to protect. And somehow Ethan had become connected to it. Alarm suddenly screamed again. A new warning appeared across every screen. Incoming orbital strike. The room fell silent. The Raider commander appeared on every monitor. His face showed pure anger. If we cannot capture the beast. His smile grew cold. We will destroy the Academy. Massive weapons charged aboard the command ship. Professor Talon's face drained of color. The orbital cannons could level the entire campus. Thousands would die. Students, teachers, everyone. Fear filled the room. Then the beast stepped forward. It looked directly at Ethan. For a brief moment, Ethan felt another memory. Ancient cities, ancient people, a promise. Protect them, always. The vision faded. The beast turned toward the door, toward the battlefield, toward impossible odds. Ethan suddenly understood. The creature intended to stop the Raider fleet alone. And for the first time since meeting it, Ethan realized something important. The beast was not protecting him because it was ordered to. It was protecting him because it had chosen to. And Ethan had no intention of letting it fight alone. The command center remained silent. Everyone stared at the beast. The creature stood near the doorway, watching the burning sky through a shattered window. Above the Academy, the Raider command ship continued charging its orbital cannons. The weapons glowed brighter every second. Professor Talon checked the tactical display. His face became grim. We have less than 10 minutes. One officer slammed a fist onto a console. We cannot stop a warship with what we have left. Another officer nodded. Our shields are gone. Our fighters are destroyed. We have nothing. The room felt hopeless. Then Ethan stepped forward. No. Everyone looked at him. We still have something. His eyes moved toward the beast. The creature stayed back. Professor Talon sighed. Ethan, that creature is powerful. But even it cannot fight an entire fleet. The beast suddenly growled. The crystal floating above Ethan's bracelet flashed brightly. Images appeared in the air. Ancient symbols. Star maps. Forgotten technology. The room gasped. One scientist nearly fell from his chair. Incredible. Professor Talon stared at the holograms. Then his eyes widened. Wait! He pointed toward one particular symbol. I've seen this before. The holographic map zoomed in. Beneath the Academy, deep underground, far below the oldest section of the campus, a hidden structure appeared. The professor's heart nearly stopped. The first builders. The beast nodded. Professor Talon looked stunned. This academy wasn't built here by accident. One scientist blinked. What are you saying? The professor swallowed. I think there's an ancient facility beneath us. A long silence followed. Then Ethan asked the obvious question. Can it help us? The beast touched the glowing map. Another image appeared. A massive defense system. Orbital weapons. Planetary shields. Ancient war machines. The answer was clear. Yes, it could help. The problem was reaching it. The underground facility sat directly beneath the oldest building on campus. Unfortunately, that building was now occupied by Raider forces. Of course it was. Ethan sighed. It couldn't be easy. The beast made a strange rumbling sound. For the first time, it almost sounded amused. Professor Talon immediately began issuing orders. Gather every available security officer. Prepare evacuation routes. If that facility works, it may be our only chance. The room exploded into activity. Outside, the situation grew worse. Raider troops pushed deeper into the academy. Defenders were being forced back. The orbital cannons continued charging. Time was running out. Ethan checked his bracelet. The crystal still glowed softly. What exactly am I supposed to do? The beast stepped closer. Then it gently touched Ethan's forehead. Another vision appeared. This one was stronger, much stronger. Ethan saw an ancient city shining beneath alien stars. Millions of beings walked its streets. Humans, aliens, countless species living together. At the center stood creatures like the beast, massive guardians, protectors, not slaves, not weapons, partners. Then Ethan saw something else. A young builder placing a crystal bracelet onto another person's wrist. The moment the bracelet locked into place, a connection formed. A bond. Guardian and keeper. The vision ended. Ethan staggered backward. Professor Talon caught him. What happened? Ethan looked toward the beast. I think I know. Everyone waited. The builders never controlled these creatures. They worked with them. The beast lowered its head slightly, a sign of agreement. The professor stared. Then why does it protect you? Ethan looked down at the bracelet. I think the crystal chose me. Outside, another explosion shook the academy. The Raider commander appeared on every monitor again. His expression was furious. You have 3 minutes. Surrender the beast. Or everyone dies. The transmission ended. Nobody spoke. 3 minutes. That was all they had. The beast immediately started moving. Ethan followed. So we're doing this. The creature looked back. Its golden eyes were calm, confident. For some reason, that confidence spread to Ethan. Maybe because for the first time all day he wasn't afraid of the beast. He trusted it. Together they left the command center. A small team followed behind them. Professor Talon, several security officers, a few scientists. The path to the ancient facility led through the old history building. Unfortunately, dozens of raiders occupied the area. The moment they approached, enemy sensors detected them. Contact. Blaster fire erupted instantly. Security officers returned fire. The battle began. The beast charged directly into the enemy line. Its roar echoed across the courtyard. Raiders scattered in panic. Some fired. Others ran. None could stop it. One armored vehicle rolled forward. Heavy cannons opened fire. Energy blasts slammed into the beast. Smoke covered everything. Several raiders cheered. Then the smoke cleared. The beast was still standing, not even wounded. The cheering stopped. The creature grabbed a vehicle and flipped it upside down. The battle changed immediately. Enemy morale collapsed. Ethan could hardly believe it. One creature was holding back an entire battalion. But then something unexpected happened. A raider sniper hidden on a rooftop spotted Ethan. The sniper smiled. Unlike the beast, the human was vulnerable. The sniper aimed carefully. One shot. That was all it would take. The trigger squeezed. A beam of energy shot toward Ethan. Professor Talon saw it. Ethan! Everything happened in an instant. The beast moved faster than anyone thought possible. It abandoned the battle. Abandoned dozens of enemies. Abandoned every tactical advantage. Just to reach Ethan. The energy bolt struck. Not Ethan. The beast. The blast pierced deep into its shoulder. The creature roared in pain. The entire battlefield froze. Golden blood splashed across the ground. Ethan's eyes widened. No! The beast stumbled. For the first time, it looked hurt. Really hurt. Something changed inside Ethan. The fear disappeared. The uncertainty disappeared. Only anger remained. This creature had protected him all day. Again and again. Without hesitation. Without expecting anything in return. And now it was bleeding because of him. The crystal bracelet suddenly exploded with light. Blue energy surrounded Ethan. Everyone stared. The ancient crystal had activated. Symbols appeared across his skin. The ground beneath him trembled. Professor Talon looked shocked. The keeper bond. The beast slowly lifted its head. Its golden eyes widened. Far below the academy, ancient machines began waking up. Systems untouched for thousands of years activated. Power surged through forgotten corridors. Massive generators came online. Defense networks rebooted. A deep mechanical voice echoed beneath the planet. Keeper recognized. Guardian recognized. Defense protocol awakening. Across the battlefield, every sensor went crazy. The Raider commander stared at his screen. What is happening? Nobody answered, because nobody knew. The ground suddenly split apart near the history building. A hidden elevator larger than a starship slowly rose from underground. Ancient lights glowed across its surface. Symbols identical to those on Ethan's bracelet appeared everywhere. The first builders had awakened, and the galaxy's oldest defense system was finally coming back online. The giant elevator finished rising from the ground. Silence spread across the battlefield. Raiders stopped firing. Defenders stopped firing. Everyone stared at the ancient structure. Its surface glowed with blue energy. Symbols covered every inch of metal. The technology looked older than history itself. Yet somehow it appeared more advanced than anything in the modern galaxy. The mechanical voice echoed once more. Keeper identified. Guardian identified. Defense network online. Welcome home. The enormous door slowly opened. A bright blue light poured out. Ethan stared in amazement. The beast stood beside him. Despite the wound in its shoulder, it remained alert. Golden blood continued dripping onto the ground. Ethan looked at the injury. We need to help you. The beast gently nudged him toward the entrance, as if saying there was no time. Professor Talon approached cautiously. His eyes were wide with disbelief. Everything we believed was wrong. One of the scientists nodded. The builders weren't creating monsters. They were creating protectors. The beast glanced at them. For the first time, many of the academy staff lowered their weapons. Not because they were forced to, because they finally understood. Suddenly alarms erupted from the Raider fleet. The commander appeared on a giant screen. His face was twisted with rage. No! He slammed a fist against his control panel. Fire the orbital cannons immediately. But, sir, an officer protested, our troops are still below. I don't care. The transmission ended. High above the planet, the command ship unleashed its weapons. Massive beams of destruction formed beneath the vessel. The attack had begun. Professor Talon turned pale. They're firing. Ethan looked at the ancient facility, then at the beast, then at the sky. We need those defenses now. The beast nodded. Together they entered the structure. The interior was breathtaking. Endless halls stretched in every direction. Walls glowed with soft blue light. Machines silently operated after thousands of years. It felt alive. At the center of the facility stood a giant circular chamber. In the middle rested a platform covered with builder symbols. The crystal on Ethan's bracelet began shining brighter than ever. The mechanical voice returned. Keeper authorization required. Ethan stepped forward. What do I do? The beast slowly placed one clawed hand onto the platform. A moment later, Ethan placed his own hand beside it. The entire facility came alive. Energy surged through every wall. Massive generators roared awake. Across the planet, hidden builder systems activated. Orbital defense satellites emerged from underground bunkers. Ancient shield towers rose from forgotten mountains. Long dormant weapons platforms awakened in orbit. The Raider fleet suddenly found itself surrounded. Warning signals exploded across their sensors. The commander stared in horror. What are those? An officer's voice trembled. Ancient builder defense systems. The commander's confidence vanished instantly. Above the academy, hundreds of blue lights appeared. A planetary shield expanded outward. Seconds later, the Raider orbital cannons fired. The devastating beams struck the shield. Nothing happened. The shield held. Cheers erupted throughout the academy. Students emerged from shelters. Teachers embraced one another. For the first time all day, hope returned. But the battle was not over. The Raider commander refused to surrender. Launch everything. Every ship opened fire. Missiles, cannons, fighters. The entire fleet attacked. The builder defenses responded. Blue beams streak across space. One raider ship exploded. Then another, and another. Within minutes, half the fleet was gone. The commander watched his forces being destroyed. Fear filled his eyes. For years, he had been feared across the galaxy. Now he faced something far older, far stronger, far beyond his control. Inside the facility, Ethan watched tactical displays appear around him. The defense system was waiting for instructions. The voice spoke again. "Keeper, command authorization granted." Ethan stared at the battlefield. He could end everything. One command, one order. The entire raider fleet would vanish. The temptation was there. After everything they had done, after every innocent person they had threatened, it would be easy. The beast watched him silently. Then Ethan remembered the visions, the builders, the guardians, protectors, not conquerors, not destroyers, protectors. Ethan took a deep breath. Then he gave his command. Disable their ships. Do not destroy them unless absolutely necessary. Professor Talon looked surprised. The voice immediately responded. Command accepted. Moments later, blue energy pulses shot into space. Instead of destroying the remaining raider vessels, they shut them down. Weapons failed. Engines died. Systems collapsed. One by one, the ships drifted helplessly in orbit. The battle ended. Just like that, the raider commander stared at his dead controls. His fleet had lost. Completely. Yet the enemy had spared them. He could not understand it. Humans and guardians were supposed to seek revenge. Instead, they had shown mercy. For the first time in many years, the commander felt ashamed. Hours later, Academy forces secured every raider position. The invasion was over. Students slowly returned to normal life. Emergency teams repaired damaged buildings. News spread across the galaxy faster than light. The beast, the human keeper, the ancient builders. Everyone wanted answers. Several days later, a ceremony was held in the Academy courtyard. Thousands attended. Students from dozens of species filled the area. Professor Talon stepped onto the stage. For years, we feared a creature we did not understand. The crowd listened quietly. We called it a monster. We called it a weapon. He looked toward the beast. The giant guardian stood peacefully nearby, and we were wrong. Applause spread across the courtyard. The beast seemed slightly uncomfortable with the attention. Ethan smiled. Professor Talon continued. Subject X-97 will no longer be known by that designation. The crowd waited. It has earned a proper name. The professor looked at Ethan. What should it be called? Thousands of eyes turned toward him. Ethan thought for a moment, then smiled. Guardian. The beast looked at him. For the first time, everyone saw something impossible. The creature smiled back. The crowd erupted into cheers. Months passed. The Academy changed forever. Humans and aliens studied builder history together. New partnerships formed. Old fears disappeared. Guardian became one of the most respected beings in the galaxy. Students often found the massive creature sitting near classrooms, watching, protecting, sometimes helping younger students who were afraid or lonely. Its reputation slowly transformed. No longer a beast, no longer a weapon, a guardian, exactly as the builders intended. One evening, Ethan sat beneath a tree overlooking the Academy. Guardian rested nearby. The campus was peaceful again. Ethan smiled. Remember when everyone thought you were a monster? Guardian made a soft rumbling sound. Ethan laughed. Yeah, me too. For several minutes they watched the sunset together. Then Ethan looked toward the stars. So what happens now? Guardian followed his gaze. The crystal bracelet glowed softly. A familiar voice echoed through the ancient network. Many guardians remain. Many worlds remain. A long silence followed. Then another message appeared. The mission continues. Ethan slowly smiled. The galaxy was much bigger than he had imagined. And somewhere out there, more forgotten guardians waited. More mysteries. More adventures. More people who needed protection. Guardian stood. Ethan stood beside him. Human and guardian. Keeper and protector. Friends. Together they looked toward the endless stars. And toward whatever came next.